get this out of the way. I've said it before in this committee, and I'll say it again. If you are a landlord of any size, of any magnitude, if you are unable to keep your business in the black without upcharging your tenants more than mandated in 4%, that is not a problem with rent regulations, that is a problem with your business model. I'll keep my comments brief since there are a lot of directly impacted folks, or more immediately directly impacted folks here in the room tonight. But I will say the magnitude of the housing crisis is immense, and the Working Families Party, as well as Reclaim Rhode Island, of which I'm also a member, sees this suite of bills as very simple solutions to complex systems of exploitation that target specifically historically marginalized groups like people of color, queer people, people who have been formerly incarcerated, which in itself is already a cycle of housing instability and discrimination. I think I'll speak specifically on Representative Boylan's bill, the radon testing bill, because it hasn't been spoken on very much tonight. I see that bill as a prime example of a hidden threat to working families and to working people. Radon is an issue that I've dealt with personally as a tenant. Radon is present in the ground, so it's more, it's pervasive in basement apartments. And something that we generally know about basement apartments is that they are rented for prices that are much lower than perhaps the rest of the building. Who is most likely to go for apartments that are rented for cheap? Poor people, people of color, people with poor credit. Testing for radon would allow people who are marginalized from taking further hits to their quality of life, at least give them a heads up to what they might be getting into if they're already renting an apartment as a last resort. The last thing I'll say is I've looked at the testimony that's been submitted to this committee tonight, and I've heard some of the testimony as I've been sitting here in the back. Thank you all for your patience in listening to all of it. Many mom and pop landlords have submitted testimony opposing these tenant protection bills. And I've been sitting here and I've been thinking, it is quite difficult to be a small business owner, in this economy. But I wonder if there's such a thing as a mom and pop tenant. We don't really hear about those because that's just, I don't know, if you're a mom and pop landlord, if the state fails to protect you, then you might lose out on your profits. If you're a mom and pop tenant and the state fails to protect you, then you'll lose out on your life. I guess I'll let the other two witnesses speak. But I'd like to say that the Rhode Island Working Families Party, Reclaim Rhode Island, and I personally, as a first-generation immigrant queer woman of color who is a mom and pop tenant, I would strongly support all of these bills and urge you to act boldly in the face of this housing crisis that threatens so many of our siblings, brothers, and sisters. Thank you very much.